Hi everybody, my name is Paula Shaw and I'm from Soulful Guiding, and in this video I'm going to go through the themes of this lunar month. So the lunar month always begins at the new moon, and then upcoming new moon will be in Scorpio, which is just adding to the intensity, considering we've just come out of eclipses, we're going straight into a Scorpio new moon. But this new moon will be happening on the 13th of November everywhere in the world. So this video is discussing the astrology from that new moon up to the one following that in the next month. So it's like a 4-week cycle. So, astrologically speaking, the theme that I've given for this one in my written snapshot, which you can find underneath this video, or you can go to soulfulguiding.com and you can sit with the deeper written version of what I'm sharing in this video. But I've called it Harnessing the Wild Energies of Collective Transformation, because there is more intensity. I get this impression, guys, that what we're moving through this year, since 2020 and up until 2027, is a reckoning for the human race. It's this feeling that I get when I look at all of the patterns, and I've projected forwards to 2027, and it just appears as though we have to change. We cannot skip the step. We cannot pretend. We cannot bury our heads in the sands. And if we don't evolve at a collective level, then we are facing some bigger problems. And I get the feeling that this intensity, it is designed to ensure that we get it, that we wake up. I don't know about you, but I've seen in my personal life and many people that I've sat with over the years that the greatest shifts that I have gone through personally, my most profound transformations, they didn't come because I felt good and safe and comfortable. They came when I felt that I was at the edge, that I was brought to my knees in essence, where I had to take a good look at what was going on in me, what I was co-creating. And I really feel like these bigger cycles, it is saying to the collective, the humanity as a whole, have a look, sort it out, look within, take responsibility. And so, as if you listen to these videos regularly or you connect with my work, you will know that I am of the view that even when it gets more intense out there, this is actually supports your inner work. It's like the intensification of the outer dynamics. The best way to deal with it is to look within, is to go within, be in the center of the cyclone or the tornado, be in the still point. That's you. We keep looking out, you'll get picked up by those winds and you will get knocked about because it is big and the winds of change are blowing and they're blowing. And you just need to say, you know what? Especially this lunar month, I'm going to go through it because Mars is super strong and he is associated with the god of war. But you know what? I'm going to stand still. And you know what? I am going to keep evolving no matter what. So this lunar month could really test your faith and your capacity to not buy into the fear. So let's look at the dynamics. Like I said, the new moon is coming up in Scorpio. That is going to be super deep. I will be doing a video just on that to explore that, to prepare you, especially for those of you that work intentionally with the lunar phases and use it as a part of your spiritual practice to sit and look within. But this, lunar month is on the back end, of this eclipse season. It doesn't officially end the eclipse season until the full moon coming up this lunar month in Gemini, because that they have a very strong influence, eclipses either on the day, 4 weeks after, with a ripple that goes on for 6 months until the next set of eclipses. How did you go with those? For me, I really had big changes internally, externally. When I looked at the house placement, I had the new moon solar eclipse in Libra in my 5th house of children, and one of my sons had a really positive breakthrough, thank goodness. Well, it was a new moon solar eclipse, so it should be better. And big shifts. What did you guys experience? I definitely saw a big change, and especially in the realms of relationships with that Libra new moon solar eclipse, as I've shared in previous snapshots, the South Node is a release point, right? Like it's where we've got to let go, but we can also bring something beautiful once we let go back into our lives through the South Node. And the South Node being in Libra suggests that at the collective level, again, this is the collective karma is different to your individual karma. So these snapshots really are the collective weather forecast, and you can find yourself within that bigger context. But I really observed deep shifts in my clients' relationships. Really, I've noticed in the last 6 weeks, a lot of people coming to me and just being at these points where they are, I'm done. I can't keep on doing this anymore. Men and women, not just, it's a collective story. Our old relationship myths that we've inherited from previous generations, they are unraveling, and it is uncomfortable. And the South Node will be in Libra until January of 2025. So this is a pattern that's going to continue playing out, especially as the eclipses hit Libra over the next year. So how do you deal with this? Open yourself to change, right? Like, as I said, the forecast for this year was increasing. One of the themes was to increase your capacity for change, because it is happening. It's always happening. And it seems to be quite amplified. As a species, we have to change. We do not have a choice. I can really see it. So for you at a personal level, to really heal your relationships, or a way to be more progressive, is to look to the North Node, which is the collective destiny, the evolutionary invitation at this point, and it's in Aries. And Aries is about your individual will. It is about leadership. It is about initiating something new. It is the sign of the pioneers, pioneering a completely new paradigm in your life. But it is also the sign of individuation. So a way to really harness the energy to not just be overwhelmed by what's unraveling is to know that you are an independent, sovereign, not separate, sovereign, whole being, and enter into your relationships from an empowered place of wholeness, so that you know that you are already complete, and that being in a relationship is a way to express that complete wholeness that you already are. This will really support you as we travel with the eclipses over the next year in Aries and Libra. So this lunar month, thankfully, we're coming off the back end of these eclipses, and something might still be culminating, especially at the new moon, with regard to that Libra relationship themes. But be careful not to get into the energy of Mars, because Mars is in a really powerful dynamic with both the new moon and the full moon. Really watch it. But thankfully, guys, Saturn has just turned direct, even as I'm filming this. But as we move into this lunar month, Saturn will begin to really start to get some traction. So Saturn's going to help you, me, all of us, and I can see it already, to feel like we can get some stuff done, to feel like we can actually make plans that stick, to feel like we can be more calculating and more measured, and actually really start building and getting some structures in place. Saturn has been retrograde in Pisces for months, and it has been so like walking through fog, everything you touch melting and dissolving in your hands. It's been this like very nebulous, and as I've shared in previous videos, Neptune is still retrograde also in Pisces, just dissolving what's true, what's real, we don't know. And at the personal level, not being able to get traction. But now with Saturn moving direct, you may find areas of your lives where you can actually get some traction. So if you're curious to look at this, when I do my horoscope, so I'm doing in my Patreon, I do a monthly horoscope video that covers the new moon, the full moon, and any of these major planetary transits. So if you're interested, check out my Patreon, because I will be looking at this journey of Saturn going direct and how to harness that energy in your life, because it's really powerful. It can be somewhere where you can actually feel like, you know what, I'm going to be okay. Yes, the world is a demolition site and it is insane right now. But you know what? I can focus on this area and I can keep building. So let's look at Mars and why Mars is a huge feature on another level this month. So this lunar month, we have a Sun-Mars conjunction in Scorpio. Whew. So this will be exact on the 18th of November, and it will be active for a few days, you know, either side. But actually, because we've got the new moon coming up on the 13th, just like days before this exact conjunction in Scorpio, okay, so there's a lot of energy in Scorpio. There'll be this building up as we get towards this new moon. So, you know, mid-November is potentially quite edgy. And this is where you can really bring in what's that discipline and structure, and how can I really focus Saturn on what's real so that you can ultimately harness this powerful, concentrated energy of Sun, Mars conjunction in Scorpio and new moon pulling all of that energy in. This is like powerful, powerful energy. It's the sun is the great monarch, you know, it's the center of our solar system. It's life-giving light. Mars is the planet of power, of passion, of your kundalini, your life force, and as is Scorpio. And Mars rules Scorpio, okay? So you might be getting a sense of the energies here. And this is, in a way, you can see that Mars, the god of war, in a conjunction with the sun, the great king, queen, monarch, in the energy of Scorpio, we need to go deep. There is an intensification in this dynamics. At the collective level, there is a great chance that there is some really, unfortunately, some amplification of the patterns and the dynamics of war, of people wanting to push their agendas. You know, it is so heavy. It's so heavy. So again, this is like, hey guys, there's some storms still brewing, even though we've just had eclipses. But this could be, the way you could work with this would be to channel that energy towards your internal battles. We all have them. It's the things that freak us out at 3 a.m. It's the just being afraid that the world's not going to make it. You do not feed those fears. Instead, rather, be aware that this energy is active. See it, feel into it. If you're interested, honestly, check out your horoscopes with an astrologer that you know understands the house placements based on your rising sign. Check it out and see what areas of your chart are being activated by Saturn and Scorpio. Saturn and Mars. So you can find, where is Pisces and Scorpio in your chart, basically. So, but that energy, that amplification, Saturn and Mars, I think it's at the full moon. Yes, at the full moon, they'll be in a square. So there's this really big shift of energy coming towards the end of the month where you can take this intensification, you can be tuning into Saturn. Where are you building some energy in your life? And then you can really harness the energy, but you need to focus it. And this is why I would say at the new moon, if you're one for ritual, this will be a very potent time to feel all of that energy and feel it in your body and focus it and direct it somewhere. Be intentional with your life. Otherwise, these dynamics could just pull you into battles you didn't even know were possible or that you wanted to have. So this would be, my advice would be, where are the battles internally? Where are the battles in your everyday reality? Be prepared for that, but be mindful. Choose how you want to be in the battle. And I think at this point, it's really important to point out Venus and what she's doing this lunar month. So Venus is in Libra most of this month. And this is great. She is the ruling planet of Libra. She is the goddess of love. She is the goddess of what it is that feels good about being a human. So it's love, wealth, abundance, joy, prosperity. And she is in Libra, the sign of justice, of, again, relationships, of fairness. And poor Venus is fighting really hard this lunar month to, my sense is to not let it all tip too far over the edge, both collectively and for you personally. So remember, Venus is in Libra. Libra is the south node, and that's where we had a new moon, lunar eclipse, and all of our relationship dynamics are going through a huge process. So with Venus in Libra, whilst there's this amplification of the battle, of the war, of this concentrated energy and intensity, if you find that your relationship dynamics are going through a big battle, I would honestly really caution you to try to address that this lunar month. Unless it's happening spontaneously, then that's different. But if it is, try to really dial into Venus. And Venus will be in a very positive aspect to Mercury, and Mercury will be in Sagittarius around the 5th of December. So just after the full moon, this is really positive. This would be a really good time to try to have those conversations, because Mercury will be helping you to access a higher vision. Venus and Libra will be like, hey, let's talk this out in a fair and balanced way. Let's get to an honest equilibrium here. Let's try to find a solution. Let's try to find peace. So that's playing out whilst this intensification is happening. But again, if you've been connecting with my work for a while, you'll see that I'm always about use the energies. Otherwise, they will knock you about in this life. And we are clearly living through a time where being intentional, where focusing your life force, your mind, practicing some kind of a practice that is keeping you centered and focused will actually help you make the most of this. Maybe this will give you the strength to say, rather than just fight, let's use this energy, this dynamic, powerful, concentrated energy in Scorpio to bring forth a positive change. As I shared earlier, I have only ever felt the most profound changes have come through moments of really deep discomfort, moments of diving into the underworld. Scorpio. Shamans understand the underworld, and it is in the underworld, Scorpio rules over the underworld. Okay, it is in the underworld that your true power lies, and it often lies hidden most of the time under your fears, under your trauma, under all the hurt that you've experienced in this life, and anywhere that you may have intentionally or not hurt others. And until you get down into your underworld unfazed, knowing that it's a place of power, you cannot fully heal. You can only truly regenerate all of your soul when you are with all that you are. And all of us have hurt somebody, and all of us have been hurt, every single one of us. And this new moon in Scorpio with this powerful Sun-Mars conjunction is an opportunity for you to grab it and go, you know what? I'm going to harness the inner warrior, Aries, North Node. I'm going to awaken the courage, and I'm going to face those places within me. And I'm going to dial into Venus in Libra, Mercury in Sagittarius, and I'm going to have those conversations that are uncomfortable, that are necessary. Or I'm going to prepare for that. I'm going to get ready for that if it's not really present. Because I'm telling you, there is such a big energy for your relationship patterns to evolve. But that requires some real wisdom, and for most of us, some real courage for that to actually happen. And I don't just mean your romantic relationships or your marriages. I'm talking every interpersonal relationship, and the ones that have been surfacing. Harness the energy. Yeah. This Venus, she'll be moving towards the South Node in Libra. That's going to just bring us closer to whatever has been shifting and stirred up by the eclipses. But honestly, as I've shared, your relationships can come into more alignment as you evolve and work with this collective story. So, this really is such an incredibly intense time for humanity. And, my heart is just so heavy when I think about what is actually going on. And my true prayer is that this amplification, that these negative forces, that these, that the way that these astrological patterns are wired up, that it is showing us our collective shadow, our collective underworld, so that we can, see what's really there and say enough. This insanity of war being a solution. War is not a solution. We all know that. Even your internal wars and battles. When did they ever actually solve a problem other than just keeping you small and sad and hating yourself? I mean, that's not even solving a problem, it's just creating more. Honestly, maybe this just needs to happen though at this point. And this is what I'm hoping when I look at these cycles and observe what's going on in the world, that there is this greater purpose of waking us up. So big energy in Scorpio with Mars in there and the sun and all of these dynamics. To me, this is a sign that we can resurrect something. Did you know that Scorpio is actually connected to the most profound regenerative healing? It's in Scorpio that in all of our lives, we all have Scorpio somewhere where we go to the edge for a transformation. It's where the phoenix rises out of the ashes. It is such a profound, profound sign that until humanity faces its shadow, we are unable to harness that true power of Scorpio. So really open your mind to the possibility that this lunar month, you can resurrect something from deep within you, but only if you look at it, if you work with these energies. Don't buy into the collective fear out there. Don't go too deep unless something is really present and you're involved. Of course, that's a different story. But if you're not directly involved in any of this chaos, then your work is to pull back and deal with the internal battles, the internal conflict, because that's where all war begins. That is not just some hippy-dippy concept. That is what is going on. So tune into the Scorpio deep energy for regenerative healing. Okay, so one more thing I want to bring into the mix that just actually amplifies the whole thing is that Eris is a dwarf planet, and she is the goddess of discord. Okay, so she is right now, this dwarf planet is conjunct the North Node in Aries. And this is such a big deal. I've only just started to research who Eris is and her story. And it's only because I think this amplification with the North Node being conjunct in Aries, it's like, to me, it's this energy of what I keep saying. It's as though it's all got to get worse before it gets better. This is like the individual will getting stronger and being prepared to fight for what they want. It's the chaos. It's the order in the chaos. It's like a balancing out that wants to happen right now on Earth. So, again, wherever Aries is in your chart, wherever the North Node is traveling, there will be some discord potentially in that part of your life. I wanted to bring that in because it just adds to all of these dynamics, where there's just all of this amplification of war. And I know that's obviously what's happening, but you can see by the symbology of the astrology that, it suggests that this is not a time for peace on Earth. Poor Venus, she's got so much work to do this lunar month, to really try to keep us in a stage of peace, not getting too lost in Eris and Mars and the Sun and Scorpio. But honestly, if you're really finding this lunar month super intense, guys, I would say by the time we get to the full moon in Gemini on the 27th of November, this is a moment where you can just sit in ritual with community, with your pain, with your shadow, with what's stirred up, with your fears, and write it down or visualize just giving it to the fire. Come and join my Patreon community. I create really beautiful, deep meditations for each lunation for you to sit and go, okay, what's going on inside me? What wants to move? What's ready to go? Clear the blocks. Like I shared before, Saturn will be square Mars at this full moon. And this really indicates that there's conflict. And by the way, Mars will have moved into Sagittarius by then. So it's not all month Mars in Scorpio. Hallelujah. Mars will be in Sagittarius, so there'll be some perspective coming in, but there will be this energy of, okay, let's get this dynamic right. Let's really clear the blocks, clear the fears, so that what you were focusing in on and concentrating and intentionally harnessing the intentions with the new moon in Scorpio, you're clearing the way for it so that it can get going. So really, honestly, work with the energies. You could even at this full moon in Gemini feel a confidence boost. Feel like, you know what, I've done this deep dive. Now I'm ready to open and expand. So guys, you know, it appears that we're all going through this underworld journey. I have actually been researching for 2024 for my astrology forecast for next year. I created a free ebook as a gift to my community each year, and it appears that Mars is still involved in some dynamics. It's really hard to explain. Like, it's like an intuitive way that I look at the astrology, and I notice what's showing up. I notice patterns. It's what I do in my sessions. And yeah, it's going to be intense. The North Node will be in Aries until January of 2025. So there is an amplification of the dynamics to come up. If you're not already, this is a free ebook that I'll be sending out. If you aren't already subscribed to my email list, then you can find the link on my link tree under the YouTube video and at soulfulguiding.com, where you can subscribe to get this for free. It's like about 30 pages usually each year ebook in your inbox, where I go into the major themes. But yeah, 2024, it's another year, but the ultimate bigger dynamics that we're moving towards by 2027, the world's going to be really different, guys. So we just got to get through it and master these energies and acknowledge that humanity is going through an underworld journey. So you can either get dragged into the underworld by Hades by the hair, or you can go, Hades, he's the Lord of the underworld. I'm with you. Let's go. I'm going to walk in because I know I'm going to find something really, really powerful here. Something that I've lost, something that was hidden and buried under my pain and my hurt. I'm going to get it back. I'm going to resurrect it, and I'm going to go for it. So I hope that's what you get this lunar month. Sending you all so much love. Journey well, and I'll see you at the new moon video in Gemini. Sorry, in Scorpio.